If you're anything like me, you think that having to watch a separate show to figure out what's going on inside the show that you're currently watching is complete bullshit. I get it, Disney. You want to loosely tie in the Star Wars universe to keep the eyes on the screen, the merchandise a-flowing, and the theme park rides a-rolling. How has that been working out for you so far? So if you're anything like me, you didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett, and therefore, if you weren't paying attention to the news on that show, all of a sudden Grogu the Baby Yoda was back from out of nowhere for your viewing pleasure and merchandising needs. It's been 2 years and some change, and Mandalorian is back, but I'm finding it very hard to get pumped for its return. Since its departure, we got a multitude of Star Wars TV shows that either didn't hold the same interest as other shows like Andor, or clearly missed the mark by making the title character a secondary one in his own show like Book of Boba Fett, or one worthless show that should have never been told like Kenobi. And then there was the firing of Gina Carano, who played Cara Dune in The Mandalorian. That sent many fans fleeing because of the hypocritical nature of letting her go. But they kept Pedro Pascal even though he insulted half the population of North America, while Gina Carano just made a historical observation. With her firing, many Mandalorian fans jumped ship, vowing to boycott future seasons until Gina was rehired, an outcome that is very likely not going to happen. They mentioned her character in the new season of Mandalorian joining Special Forces. My guess is that is the last they will ever mention of Cara Dune. The show opens up on the beach, with the armorer ceremoniously bestowing a helmet to a young Mandalorian, when from under the waters a giant alligator attacks. Wait, what? This already denotes to me that the creativity in the show has hit a wall and hit it hard. I might be wrong, but most, if not all, the creatures in Star Wars can't really be identified by anything we've seen on Earth, making everything in the Star Wars universe completely otherworldly. Here it just seems like Dave Filoni asked what attacks the beach party to a silent writer's room. And finally, a frustrated writer, hungry and desperate to get out of the office, threw up his hands and said, I don't know, what about a giant alligator? Dave Filoni was scratching his balls, and right before sniffing his fingertips, said, that's brilliant. And then the writer's room got into a circle and jerked each other off. Don't get me wrong, it was cool to see the various different Mandalorian fighting styles and weapons, but the scene was also dumb as shit. The 30 or so odd Mandalorians, while fighting a 20-story tall alligator, decided to use their grappling hooks on it? That's just like trying to bring down an elephant using yarn. It's a scene that makes you wonder just how many dented chromosomes fill the Mandalorian's writing room. That fight goes on for way too long with the alligator doing nothing. It doesn't move anywhere closer to shore, nor does it seem to want to kill anybody. 5 minutes deep into it and you realize the alligator isn't trying to kill anyone. It's trying to commit suicide by Mandalorian. Whatever. So their small arms fire and pieces of yarn can't seem to give the alligator what he wants and seems to just say, fuck it, maybe these fuckers do deserve to die and I should live. Just as the alligator makes the switch, swooping in is the Mandalorian and Grogu, firing missiles into the side of the alligator, blowing out his rib meat. At the very end, the alligator thanks the dynamic duo for killing him, allowing his scene to end and he doesn't have to be in the episode any longer. The armorer tells Dinn Djarin that he's no longer a Mandalorian for taking off his helmet, which some of you might be questioning. If Dinn Djarin is in possession of the Darksaber, doesn't that pretty much make him king? Who the hell is this woman to say anything without him allowing her to? Does this sect of Mandalorian religion not believe in the power of the Darksaber? These questions are not asked or answered. It might be something they'll address down the line, but who knows? There's a lot of writing rookie mistakes that are present in this episode, so it wouldn't surprise me if they never address this fact at all. Anyways, Din wants to redeem himself for his transgression. The only way he can do that is if he bathes in the living waters beneath the mines of Mandalore. But the planet has been bombed and poisoned by the Empire, and nobody is sure if the living waters below the mines still exist. So proof must be brought back that he indeed took a bath. But first a pit stop to meet with an old friend, Karga. Now, you might be asking yourself at this point, would an apostate of the Mandalorians who wants to get his redemption on stop anywhere else? Why would he stop? To meet with his friend and grab a hot dog? I don't know. It does give us a chance to bro shake with Carl Weathers again.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Other than that, the visit seems to have no purpose other than he needs IG-11 to explore Mandalore. But IG-11 is a statue now, in the middle of the town square of Navarro, so good luck with that. Why does Mando need this droid in particular? But they do get into a gun battle with some pirates we've never seen or heard of before. This scene is just so we have some action to break up all the boring talky talk. It's sort of like in the opening scene. It just comes about for no reason and seems lifeless as it happens with no sense of high stakes. And it's just a reminder that Mando is quick and accurate with his blaster, and the audience doesn't get to notice that the episode has no direction. Finally, they power up IG-11 and it immediately attempts to kill Grogu. Remember when I said one sentence ago that Mando is quick and accurate with his blaster? Well, I guess all that skill was used up on shooting random pirates because here he misses his target over and over again, practically at point blank range. For fuck's sake, Mando, if you had one more eye, you'd be a Cyclops. So after IG-11 goes haywire, they take it to some rats that live inside of a wall that repairs robots or something. They say they can't repair the robot until Mando can get them a spare part, and so off Dinn and Grogu go, in search of the spare part that they need to get IG-11 up and running again. But first, another pit stop, this time with Bo-Katan for more exposition. That's the plot to the premiere of Mandalorian Season 3, and already it's spelling trouble. The problem with the new episode is that there's no more shock or mystery to the Mandalorian storyline. Nothing that makes you go wow because this story already tells you. Like when Mando and Grogu are intercepted by pirates, you know there's a bigger pirate ship out there waiting because the villains tell us this. It would be better, since we are following Mando's point of view, that we discover this larger vessel waiting for him the same way he does. It's a rookie writing mistake made by writing veterans who should know better. And why do we need IG-11 back in the first place? And what is the point of a self-destruct mechanism if a droid could just be rebuilt? Kinda defeats the point of a self-destructing mechanism, don't you think? It's thinking like this that makes you come to the conclusion that if you took the writer's brains out and put it into a grasshopper, it would jump backwards. It's typical of modern Disney to ignore the very real finality that is death. Any character at any time under the modern Disney umbrella can come back from the dead and sell more toys or tickets to their theme parks. I'm surprised Disney hasn't created alternate timelines to their classic movies just to bring back Bambi's mother. And speaking of bringing a character back specifically to sell toys, there's the whole separate issue of Grogu and how the writers just don't know what to do with him other than have him use the Force to spin himself around a chair. He isn't given much else to do other than to be exposition fodder for Mando to spew at the audience. Another rookie writing mistake. Exposition should be shown and, in only the most dire of circumstances, told. And definitely not all the time throughout the show. I have a feeling the other reason Grogu is back is so when Mando gets in a jam he can't possibly win, Grogu is going to bail him out using the Force at the last minute. He's sort of this cute, ready-to-use, always at Mando's side Deus Ex Machina weapon. Honestly, they should have let Grogu go with Skywalker and had a new toy for Mando to hang out with. There's a lot of bad habits kicking off this season premiere. I suspect that if you power down your brains and let a little bit of drool out of the side of your mouths, you might be able to enjoy a few moments it can spare. For instance, the space battle scene, for all of its enormous problems, is enjoyable and reminiscent of both Empire Strikes Back and Attack of the Clones asteroid chase scenes. It's a season off to a very rocky start. One you hope only gets better over time. But when you understand that show quality tends to dip in the middle of a season, and not in the beginning or the end, get ready for an implosion bigger than seismic charges. I'm outta here.